Well, thanks for all the great feedback on my cooking episode where I cooked some Welsh lamb in a bit of a different way, really. If you didn't see that, pop back to my last video and take a look. I'm going to pick some more beans today, and I've got a bit of beetroot to harvest. And these beans, they're just constant now. I think we've probably put quite a few pounds into the freezer, and Mrs. Kay said, get them back to me straight away so I can get processing them. So I'm going to work my way through here, see what I can harvest, and then take them home quickly. You won't see that bit. Ooh, well, she told me not to pick too many. I might be in trouble. We'll have to see. Well, the beetroot that we roasted at the weekend were amazing. So we're just going to have 2 more. And these will keep us going for a few more weeks yet. And who knows, maybe another beetroot chutney session. We'll see. Woohoo! It is like an oven in here today. The temperature has been crazy over the last couple of days. We've got up to sort of 28 degrees, and in here, well, I'd like to tell you the temperature, but the battery's failed on the thermometer. I need to change that, but it must be over 30 degrees in here, probably approaching 40 when it's at the peak of the day. So I'm going to do what I think is probably going to be my penultimate tomato picking session. We've got an absolute shed load of tomatoes that are ready, and I'm going to take these now. They'll keep indoors for a few days at least before we use them, and then I can get the last that are currently green probably into the house in a week or so's time, and then we really will be into the colder weather. And well, the tomatoes, they're dying already, but they really do keel over in that short space of time. I've spotted a cabbage white in here today. I might get rid of that too. Right, I'll get on and harvest, and I'll show you what I've got. Well, I'm not going to wax lyrical about this little cherry tomato anymore because you've heard it so many times. I'm just going to show you the harvest, which is about, I don't know, harvest number 6. Amazing. Well, there we go. Another truly amazing harvest from these few tomato plants. I know so many of you have been suffering from blight, and my heart goes out to you, but this has been a good year for me, and it's the first one probably for, well, this is the 3rd year that I've been growing in smaller quantities in the polytunnel, and it's a successful year. It's a really transitional time on the plot. And it's interesting, over the last couple of days there's a whole surface covering of mildew on all the courgette leaves. It's just like it snowed. It's incredible. And of course that's a sure enough sign that these plants are coming to the end of their natural life. So what I'm going to do is just strip out quite a lot of this and see what growth of fruit we've got underneath. I'll leave a few healthy leaves at least on most of the plants, but it's just time to thin out a bit. Well, there's a fair amount of dead and dying leaves there. Probably could even take more out. There's another one there. But I thought I was going to get to the point where I take the odd plant or two out, but to be honest, everything's got something growing on it. Now, there are a few missiles like this, and this is going to go to the chickens. Once we get to the point where we really can't use them, I'm just going to cut this in half. In fact, I'll do it now. And then the chickens don't really like trying to peck through the tough outer skin, but if you can expose the center to them, then good times. There we go, chicken feed. Well, the flower garden's been holding on amazingly. We've still got some sweet peas, although there's an awful lot here that will soon be ready for keeping the seed for next year. And we've still got some pentstemon down there, which is flowering in the pink, and the fuchsia's doing really well. But we've been waiting for a dry day or two to harvest the heads of the calendula for making the calendula balm and body cream that we make. So I'm going to work my way through, simply cutting the heads off of these and collecting them, and then they'll be left in the house to dry, well, for quite a long time actually, and then eventually steeped into an oil. Our preference is almond oil, and then you turn that almond oil every day for a good 2 or 3 weeks, and then ultimately you've got an almond oil which has got calendula essence inside it, and that's what we add to the body cream and the balm. So I'm going to get on and strip these heads. Well, if you're thinking I won't have any seed for next year, there's plenty more flowers to come out, and it only takes a few of these flowers to give you a whole shed load of seed, and so there'll be plenty for dropping down into the ground and carrying on. And we've got some growing in another location just in case. Good times. As I said before, it's a strangely transitional time on the plot where we're harvesting some things every day. The ground's cleared in other places, and other things are just dying back in readiness for the autumn and the winter. Let's have a quick look round. So the raspberries, well and truly over, but they get this flurry of foliage now. And the gooseberries that were attacked by the sawfly, we got a great harvest off it in the end, but they've recovered. You can see all those dark green leaves, which are doing really well. And the rhubarb is suffering from being really dry in these few days, and you can see it's really wilting and flattening to the ground, and it's in the process of taking up that goodness back into the roots and getting ready for winter. Apple trees seem to come on nicely, and that's great because it means in a year or so's time we'll be picking fruit off them, and I just need to research the best way to prune these. I summer pruned the pear, and that's looking a reasonable shape now, and we've got a plum over there that's doing well. Of course, I had to take an apple out because it had canker, and this one, I'm afraid, is going exactly the same way. So it looks like I might have lost 2 apple trees this year, which is a real shame, but it just means I can research what I'm going to put in those 2 beds. For sure it's going to be more trees just to keep this evened up and keep my fruit garden well balanced. Other squash and pumpkins, you can see the leaves really getting crispy dry on here as it begins to die back, and we've got lots of these smaller ones which are absolutely fantastic for a single meal. And there's another one there and another one over there, a slightly bigger one here, but it's the medium-sized ones that I'm looking to cure. And you can see this one's changing colour. There's a little bit of orange on the back of that, and that's the sweet sugar. And there's a good 1, 2, 3, I think probably 4 or even 5 of those. Another small one over there. And then of course we've got, well, the giants. And I've never really had giants on the plot. It's very exciting. And this one is by far and away the biggest pumpkin I've ever grown, or squash. Look at that. And somebody suggested it could be a spaghetti pumpkin or a spaghetti squash, and I thought probably not. But now, when I went back and looked at the video of me planting these, it was clear that I didn't know what they were. So it could well be right, so my apologies for saying that it possibly wasn't. Anyway, we're going to let that one carry on growing. I guess we'll really know when we open it. And let me show you the one over there and the two over there if I can get to them. Well, on my way round I noticed that one, which is a bit unusual, and I've got a couple that are in here which are just getting a real decent size now. In fact, there's another one of those yellow ones, but the real pièce de resistance is this one. And well, answers on a postcard as to what this is, but it's getting so big. It's absolutely fantastic. It's quite narrow. Let me get you over and show you. It's quite a narrow pumpkin, but it's certainly very wide. And we've got another one in there. Yeah, another one in there. And then over here we've got the blue Hubbard. And there's some nasty stingers here, so I'm going to try and avoid them. Let's see. Yeah, there he is. So there's one there, and there's another one down in there, which is looking quite sizable. So I'm going to have to get to those sometime, because I just want the late autumn sun to get to them. And we've even got one dangling over the pond. And in the pond, I noticed today, it's just full of tiny little creatures. Struggling to remember the name of those, but I know that fish like them. And I've watched the frogs from time to time come up, chase them and eat them, which is great to see. Picking the beans, at least the other side, and my leeks are doing really well, really strong, sturdy plants. And I think that they are benefiting from a bit of shade from this structure of runner beans, because the width on some of these stems is amazing. Look at the size of these, just beautiful. And from time to time, at this time of year, I start to see them, well, bolt, and I can see just one. So there's an example, and that one will have a hard core, and I've started to see them now. There's another one there, but they'll have a hard core, which makes them almost inedible unless you get them early and take the core out. But that's 2 out of, well, there must be 50 or 60 in there. It's a really good row of leeks this year, so I'm delighted with that. And the purple sprouting broccoli, which I've got stakes in ready for the winter winds, has really started to push up now. And I put an extra one in there just in case, and both of them seem to have survived, which is an irony, but they're doing nicely. These beds, not a great deal of activity. Still pulling beetroot, as you've seen, and we've got some enormous cabbage, and I really have got to start harvesting these and using these now. So I think we'll be having some coleslaw soon and some cabbage with our roast. And we've got celeriac, which is thickening up. It'll enjoy this warmth for a week or so and then carry on growing, probably at a slow rate. We've got swede, which I can see. There's a wonderful swede in there. If we can get to it, probably over the top. But I don't know if you can see that, but it's looking really nice. And then we've got turnips, which we usually put in stew, so they'll be coming out as the cold weather kicks in the next day or two. Of course, lots of onions, which are curing, and we ate that one last week and it was delicious. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully storing those. They're turning a nice sort of champagne brown colour now, which is fantastic, and I need to get those strung up probably before we get any more rain and cold weather. And we've got the banana shallots, which are doing exactly the same, looking really good. A few extra celeriac there. Don't think they're going to come to much, but that's okay. We've got fallow beds at the moment, but that's the way it is this time of year for me. This one's probably been left the longest, and there's quite a bit of weed growing in there, which I need to pull out. And then of course we've got the kale, which last week I showed you how I made kale crisps, and they are fantastic. A number of you saying how you like to have a go at that, and I urge you to. They're really tasty and probably a lot healthier than those regular crisps you buy in the supermarket. The cauliflower bed is a disaster, and it's important to share your disasters. This clearly needs nets, and I'll take this top off and clean out the bed and just see whether there's anything that's going to crack on and survive. Possibly some sprouts, but to be honest, I've almost written this off as a disaster. So I've learned some lessons there, which you always do. And these are some sort of intermediate celeriac, and they might come through. There's a reasonable root on some of those, so we'll see. And quite a lot of grass invading from outside into the plot, which I'll need to dig out. And then of course there's the parsnips, which are looking really well. And since I took the nets off, as I said before, they've really pushed on, and they've got a long way to go yet. They'll carry on growing for a fair old time, and hopefully we'll get some decent sized parsnips. I do know that this part of this bed is the deepest, and so it's got the best chance of having a nice long root. I'll leave you looking at the apples, which are coming on quite well. I've got a few more weeks of growth on them yet, and definitely worked well thinning them out. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, well then why not like and subscribe. And I upload my videos every Wednesday and every Sunday at 8 p.m. and it'd be great to have you along. Good times.